Hello!
We're back!
We're back!
We're back!
Live!
We're live!
Well, I was live yesterday.
Oh,
but,
well, I wasn't.
You weren't.
I wasn't.
You weren't. Your fun facts, they were not fun. They were not fun. They weren't fresh.
Mm-hmm.
They were stale.
Do you want to hear the fun facts for today?
I knew you'd prepared one. What is your fun fact for today, Quinton?
So the fun fact is there's more time between the building of the Great Pyramids of Giza and Cleopatra as there was between Cleopatra and today.
I did know that one, actually.
Yeah.
That one's pretty fun. Really puts time in perspective.
I know, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know what else puts time into perspective?
What?
The crazy T-Suns.
Warp time!
Warp time!
You're warping time so you can move again. That feels
Yeah.
like a bit of a waste,
But you can't charge.
Okay. You can't charge afterwards. Alright, so this is Build a List 1,000 Suns. So Build a List 1,000 Suns, the game plan here is we're gonna build a list live. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to play it on stream. And by we, I mean me. I'm going to play it into John's Chaos Nights.
That's exciting.
It should be fun. We're going to do it live this coming Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I'm going to play this list into John's Chaos Nights on camera so you can watch the list being built, and then you can watch the list being played. All right? So this should be a good time.
I'm excited for it.
That's right. But if you're looking for more games, more content like this, then you want to check out the War Room. So
the War Room.vhx.tv.
That's right. There's a link down in the description, and that link will tell you there's a 3-day free trial. You can sign up right now, and you can put your lists in for Fix My List. You can watch all our content, see if it's up to your liking. I guarantee you it will be. And you can join our global community in our Discord.
And you can even talk to us. If you have a question and you want to be like, what does Quinton think about this obscure Eldar unit? You can message me. And I'll probably give you an answer.
It's probably good. It's
probably good. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to build a list, and it's going to be live.
All right.
So let's go right into it. So this list, I'm not going to lie, is a bit, shall we say, inspired. Inspired by Vic Vijay and Arn's list for, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, or really Vic's 100%, but whatever. Vic and Arn from Team England and Team Germany. They had an MSU list that performed really, really, really well. Do
you want to know what Jack said before the stream? He said, I'm so mad that I didn't come up with that. Which is the biggest compliment I've ever heard Jack give anybody. I'm
mad I didn't come up with that archetype. So I'm not going to copy it straight up, although it is going to be very similar because it's going to be in the same vein of trying to maximize Cabal points, maximize individual characters and their shooting, and use rhinos.
Okay. So why don't you talk about why that rhino and all the characters are so important?
Okay. So first off, 1,000 Suns, I was struggling a little bit. I was originally on 1,000 Suns for WTC, and I was testing them, and I had like the 10 Terminators, plus Magnus, plus support. And the list was fine. It had some problems, specifically in teams, where it was getting bullied by some matchups, including Deathwatch, because the indirect was brutal. And it was struggling on my opponent's board choice. And that was that's why we cut it. And I ended up playing my Grey Knights that did quite well, but probably would have been better as this kind of archetype. So we ended up cutting it because it just wasn't performing very well in teams. Mm-hmm. Either I would go into somebody on their board choice and it was not very good, or I would go into a bad matchup and it wasn't very good. So we ended up cutting it. But Vic and Arn, their list performed very, very well for them. They were a big problem. And I looked at it and I was like, damn, that's a very good list. I wish, as I said, I wish I'd come up with that archetype. So we're going to do something in that vein. This is, if I were to go to a tournament, this is what I would play. I do love my 1,000 Suns. I do have an army being commissioned right now by our very own Cass Hushadar.
Yeah, good friend, good player, amazing person.
Exactly. So
Dirty Canadian.
Whoa! You're just mad because our KC team beat yours.
You didn't just beat us, you destroyed us.
It was a 5-0. No one's counting, though.
Cass did, in fact, personally dumpster me.
Oh, that's right. Cass played you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Cass is great. We love him. We love him here. And he is commission painting very nicely up an army for me of 1,000 Suns. And I'm excited to use it. Yes. So let's go into this list. This is legitimately what I would take to a tournament. I have not been building an army in the app. I legitimately wanted to, but I've been postponing it until right now. We're going to do this army building live on camera.
Should we just add Magnus now, or should we wait?
I mean, there's a character that's 410 points in here, Quinton. It could be anybody, but it is definitely Magnus. Magnus is the star of the show. He's what the army revolves around. He does a lot of the heavy lifting. Mm-hmm. The army lets him be him to his fullest.
Good for the army. I'm proud of Magnus.
It is. So I'm just going to add Magnus the Red right now. So the game plan here is the way you get around a lot of the problematic matchups is you take a Rhino and you put an Exalted Sorcerer on disc in it. Because the Exalted Sorcerer on disc is an infantry model. That was the key thing that I missed, that he could go in Rhinos. I knew he was infantry. I knew he could go through walls. Missed that he was that he could go in Rhinos. When you go in a Rhino, that means you can't be shot by indirect easily, and also you can get out quite far, then double move, potentially even triple move up the board, get line of sight to something, and call down
the Magnus Airstrike.
And in this list, there's a lot of Psyker models with good psychic weapons, so it's not just the Magnus Airstrike.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Magnus Airstrike and then 3 or 4 other sorcerers, and surprise, they're all good at shooting.
They're all pretty good at shooting. Some are better than others, but they're all pretty good. Mm-hmm. So looking at this list, basically the archetype is Magnus plus a bunch of characters plus a bunch of small rubric units plus some support.
And you just get all the Cabal points.
Yeah, I think Arn's list had 26
the
and
whole
Vic's had
Cabal
like
was
23
there.
Or something.
Yeah.
Something ludicrous, which helps compensate for the fact that if you are in a Rhino, you do not give Cabal points to the army. Mm-hmm. Which I think is kind of a flavor fail, whatever. You can't sorcery because you're in a Rhino, but that is how the rule is.
Lead boxes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So we're starting the list off with Magnus because he is the star of the show. Next up, we need to include some characters to get line of sight for the strat to call down the bombardment. Mm-hmm. So we are going to need some Exalted Sorcerers on disc. They have other purposes. One, they have a good gun. Double Magnus seems pretty good.
How many Magnuses would you take? Would you take 3 Magnuses?
I think I'd take 2.
Okay.
They are expensive otherwise, but he is an Epicure, so you obviously can't. I'm going to start with 2.
Okay.
Exalted Sorcerer on discs have a good gun. They have a great ability. Where on a 2-up, they pick a unit within line of sight in 18 inches.
No move.
It halves move, halves advance, and halves charges. So in fact, you can. It just sucks so bad.
That's
against Custodes. You don't go boop boop boop. You go out. Then you see them. Then I think you can call down the bombardment, but I'd have to double check the timing. And then you double move backwards away behind a wall. And you just do that yo-yo every turn.
What a jerk.
You can also get back in a transport with the double move.
Oh, wow.
So you can go out, get line of sight, and then call down the bombardment, but I'd have to double check. And then come back, get back in the Rhino. And
okay.
We're good here.
So what's the gun on these guys? On the disc? Why does every sorcerer have a different gun?
Because it's a complicated army, clearly.
The
gun, if I remember correctly before I look it up, is D6 auto hits at strength 6 AP2 damage D3. I believe that is it. That is correct. It's 18-inch range and ignores cover.
That's quite good.
It's a torrent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. And it'll have dev wounds, likely from the army rule.
I've actually also been liking sustained hits.
Sustained is also pretty good.
Especially if you already have a lot of sorcerers who have dev wounds.
So it's good on Magnus, for sure, on some of his weapons. It's good in combat, although dev wounds is probably a little better.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. A lot of these guys are going to end up having auto-hitting weapons.
That's a good point. Yeah. So then, yeah.
So, like, Exalted Sorcerers on disc, they have that. And then also...
You know, the flamers and stuff?
Yeah, the... what are they called? The Infernal Masters, who are... I originally started out with one Infernal Master with Vortex in my lists. He, I believe, killed one of your Armigers in one shooting activation. During testing.
Yeah, he sure did.
But I moved away from them, and I'm very excited that this unit is back in. So we're also going to put in an Infernal Master.
And we're just accepting that this army is going to give up Assassinate, right?
Yes. Infernal Master with Arcane Vortex.
So Arcane Vortex is the funny gun.
It is the funny gun. You get one Arcane Vortex. And in my mind, he's not 100 points, but whatever, we'll get to him. In my mind, you include Arcane Vortex on one of 2 types of guys. One, you put him on an Infernal Master, which makes his gun really good. It goes from 2d6 auto hits at strength 6, AP 2, damage 1.
To damage
to
2.
strength 7, damage 2, and with dev wounds, and the fact if he's joined a unit, he gets rerolls to wound of 1 or rerolls full wounds if your opponent's on an objective. And then he can also, once per turn, flip a die to a 6, which is a lot with dev wounds.
That's actually a lot of damage.
Yeah. The Sorcerer with Arcane Vortex does dramatically more damage.
He's the lightning exploding 6 guy, right?
Yeah, he has sustained hits 3. And he would, with Arcane Vortex, he's strength 6, AP 1, damage 2. And you reroll hits and wounds, and you can, in fact, just delete armies with that. I have rolled it out and killed 10-man Terminator unit.
What?
Yeah, with just his gun. That you have to roll up a bit to do that, for sure. You have to. I think the average is like 6 or something.
The average is 6 Terminators.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Okay, cool. Why are we not including that guy?
Because he's 12-inch range.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
And he needs reroll hits and wounds to work.
Yeah, and then you're not putting it on the other thing besides Magnus.
Yes. So you can extend range, but extending range by 9 inches takes Infernal Master 27-inch range, which is pretty good.
Oh, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And if you do it again, because you can do it twice on the same unit.
Right, you sure can.
You sure can.
Wow,
it's
that's
36-inch range.
That's a great indirect gun right there.
Yeah, it's a great indirect gun.
What?
The Sorcerer is 30-inch range if you double extend, which is great, but then you are locked into extending twice, which costs you a CP and 6 Cabal points, and then re-rolling hits and wounds, which costs you CP. And then, and then your 30-inch range is at 36. I get it. The Infernal Master with Arcane Vortex requires far less investment.
I do also kind of like the sound of rolling high and killing 10 Terminators with one spicy dude behind a wall.
Yeah, that's not the Infernal Master. That's the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer does more damage.
Yeah, I'm saying I kind of like that.
I also kind of like it. You do need to take the armor save away to do that amount of damage.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes. Then they're taking 4-ups. I'm going to start out here in the Infernal Master, although I can always be convinced to take the Yahtzee gun, because the Yahtzee gun is gross.
What if we just added a Yahtzee gun?
It requires the Arcane Vortex to do that amount of damage. So it's one guy with Arcane Vortex does a bunch of damage. Mm-hmm. Do we want less investment Infernal Master, more investment dude?
I like the dude with the Yahtzee gun.
Okay, we can totally put in the Yahtzee gun.
Yeah.
The Yahtzee gun is closer range, but does a dramatically increased amount of damage. Mm-hmm. More damage. Does require you to take the armor save away, but we have a lot of Cabal points.
So I think we're already having this army that has the ability to move around and be kind of tricky. I want a panic button
of just no, you're dead.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
right. If someone tries to shove you, because at the core we are building a list that is a Land Raider, a bunch of characters, and 20 tactical Marines. It's not that hard to table this army.
It's going to be 30 tactical Marines, but yeah. Rhinos, and then you have Magnus. You're a lot of the time going to be using your threat range to keep yourself safe.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So, if you, deploy this army in the open, and your opponent gets, a good shooting phase, most of it is now dead.
Yes, you cannot do that.
So, some people see that, and they're like, I rush, I go forward. And if you have an army that's squishy, I like having the panic button. It's the reason I liked having a 9-man unit of cannon bikes, so I could just be die.
I mean, I can totally get behind having the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer also gives you the no shoot outside 18.
Oh, it's the same guy?
Same guy.
Yeah, slap him in there.
So the Yahtzee gun is real funny. I'm going to go over it again. It is strength 6, AP 1, damage 2. Not bad. Mm-hmm. It's sustained hits 3, and it's pistol. So it's 2d6 shots, not blast. Mm-hmm. And you have to reroll hits and wounds with it.
Yeah.
Which I'm still could go either way on, honestly. But you do have to reroll hits and wounds to make it do good work.
And then it goes to 7 AP.
Strength 6, AP 1, damage 2 is where you get with Arcane Vortex. Mm-hmm. Because it's devastating wounds and it's sustained hits 3.
You fish on both ends.
You just fish on both ends for 6s. If you're standing near Magnus, you have +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
That's really good.
Yeah. And then if you take a Terminator unit's armor save away, you're 7 shots. Oh, I rolled a little high. 16 hits. I rolled 9 shots on 2d6. I guess that's, 17 hits. And then all of them are going to wound. Some of them are going to be mortals. So you're going to take like 8 mortals and like 10 saves. 12 saves or something. Because it's +1 to wound, reroll hits and wounds.
That's hilarious.
So you're going to take like 12 saves. It's like 3 die to that. And then you have like 8 mortals. So it's like half a Terminator unit dies.
Yeah.
And if you roll hot and you just roll a couple extra 6s, bye. Just good GG. Bye-bye unit.
He's a pocket Wraith Knight.
He's a pocket Wraith Knight. He has 12-inch range. So you are priced into like double and triple extending. I'm going to leave the Infernal Master for now. Because this guy still does very good damage. Mm-hmm. Still does very good damage. But just natively has a longer range. Doesn't require reroll hits and wounds to do his work. Lets the army actually... I'm sick and tired, honestly. Mm-hmm. Of having to play T-Sons of like, I'm priced into channeling 3 CP into this button every turn.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm super down to just
not.
This guy does his damage, and then other guys do their damage.
Okay.
And with that in mind, we are going to take more Infernal Masters.
How many are you taking?
I'm going to start out with 2.
Okay.
So Infernal Masters have a number of benefits. 1, they give their units sustained hits, which is kind of useless, because they all have flamers.
Oh, wow. That is useless.
Yeah. 2, they give you 2 Cabal points.
That's good.
It's good for 75 points.
Yeah,
They're one of the cheapest sources of them. And they also just have a good gun. Strength 6, AP 2, damage 1, 2d6 auto hits at 18
Very
inch range.
respectable.
Very respectable. So we're going to go with 2, and we're going to see where that leaves us.
How many points are we at right now?
All right, let me see.
Your double Infernal Master.
Infernal Master plus 15 points for the enhancement. We're at 785.
Okay. How many rubrics do we want? Let's go ahead and add those guys.
I think I personally want to start with 6.
Okay, 6
units of 5.
6 and 5. And we're going to give them all flamers or what?
We're going to start out with 5 rubrics. Yeah, if Arn or Vic are watching, this will start to look very familiar in a second. We're going to take 3 flamers and a chain cannon.
And then the Exalted Sorcerer has his staff and a pistol.
And a Warp Flame pistol, yeah.
Is his Magic Bolty Gun a pistol?
Sure is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his Magic Bolty Gun's not terrible. It's not, like, insane, but it's not bad. It's 2 shots, Strength 4, AP 3, damage 1, Devastating Wounds, Anti-Infantry 4+.
Okay, that's quite good.
It's
Especially
fine.
If you
it's
shoot
like
6 of them in a target.
It's like some amount of mortal wounds.
It's like a mortal or 2.
It's like a mortal or 2 every time. It's like an old-timey smite.
Yeah.
So we're going to start out here. This is 1355. This is kind of the... We're going to leave that guy to the side. This is kind of the core of the list.
How many rhinos do we want?
I'm going to start with 2.
Okay.
Because I would like to... I'm going to start with 1, actually.
All that firing deck.
Firing deck's pretty decent, but also being able to just kick sorcerers out and back and out and back is really good. So
Plus rhino is useful.
Yeah, let me see how many points a rhino is. They are pretty cheap, I believe. They're 75 in Thousand Sons. They're 80 in other things. Don't know why. So we're going to do that. And we would like 1 Mutalith as well.
And the Mutalith is for the extending range and the fact that it's annoying.
Yeah, Mutalith is very annoying. So we're going to go 2 rhinos and an MVB. Mutalith Beast. I will put Vortex in there. We got room. Everyone likes a Vortex. And I believe it is 145, if I remember correctly. So this is kind of like the core of the list. And then we're going to see how do we want to extend things from here. So Mutalith is 145. We're at 1650. We have 350 points left. And let's
dump all that into characters, or do we want like another unit?
I think we're going to end up dumping it into characters and skirmish pieces.
Good call.
So we've got 6 units, right? Let's count up our Cabal points. All right, you want to count it up for me?
I don't know the numbers.
Yeah. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 plus 6 is 18. That's pretty good. It's not bad. A lot of it's going to be in rhinos, so you do have to be careful about that. With that being said, we're at 18. I definitely want more than that. So I'm going to add some characters and some skirmish pieces, and that's probably going to be it. And we're going to try it out.
We could add some of the bow disc guys that everyone has that are kind of annoying.
Yeah,
the enlightened.
The enlightened are pretty good, especially because you can reserve them, bring them on, and then double move them somewhere.
Imagine double moving after coming in from reserves.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Could be.
Yeah. So I could add a third Infernal Master. In fact, I think both of them had 3. Their gun is pretty good, right? It reliably splashes some amount of mortals and some amount of saves.
Yeah, but he's also 2. Does everyone get to flip a 6?
Each Infernal Master.
So each one's minimum 2 mortals?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, minimum 1, but yeah.
Oh, right.
Once per turn, you can change the result of a hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, or saving throw made for this model to an unmodified 6. So we do need to include one thing. We need to include a Thousand Suns Sorcerer. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, hold on. This guy's going to have an enhancement.
The crystal?
No. This one's actually more important.
Oh, the Lord of Forbidden Lore?
Lord of Forbidden Lore. So this is a sorcerer with Lord of Forbidden Lore, and the reason you take on a sorcerer is so that they can't kill it.
Is he a lone op?
He is the guy who says you can't shoot me unless you're within 18.
Oh, he's Funny Gun.
Yeah, he's Funny Gun, but he does not have the super Funny Gun.
Yeah.
I could see swapping that around. Totally could. Totally in for that. This guy hits like a truck. I'll have to play with both and see what I think. Although I do like Funny Gun, so I might actually end up switching this Infernal Master over to the Sorcerer. I do also like being able to stand him out and not have my opponent be able to shoot him very well and just shoot repeatedly. I think that's quite nice. But the guy with Lord of Forbidden Lore is 110, and he cannot be shot unless he is within 18.
It's a cool enhancement name.
Yes, it's also very, very good. So now we're up to 19 Cabal points. I would like some more.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly just take a third one. Good. I don't see why not. And we're going to take a third one of that as well. Wow. This might legitimately just be Arn's list. I haven't double checked. So what we're going to do real fast before I lock this in as like a thing I'm doing is we're going to double check my unit attachments. Mm-hmm. So I have one Sorcerer.
Goes to Rubrics.
Triple Infernal Master.
Goes to Rubrics. So we have 2 left?
We have 2 left.
Which is 2 disc guys.
And we have 45 points left on the list.
How many points is Enlightened?
45.
Oh.
I believe if I add an Enlightened to this list, it legitimately is Arn's list. I think he has 1 Rhino, actually. Oh. So it's pretty close to Arn's list. Do I need triple Exalted Sorcerer on disc? It is the most expensive one. This list has 10, 16, 17, 23. This might legitimately actually be...
Well, how many do we want to sacrifice of the Exalted Sorcerers?
Like, to go on bombing runs?
Yeah.
Let me check the timing on that. Let me check the timing on when I call down the bombardment versus can I call it down and then double move. Mm-hmm. So Cult of Magic, the stratagems, it is Warp Sight. Just says your shooting phase. So yes, I can. Wow. Yes. So you can throw him out 15 inches. I'll double check his movement because they're just like randomly different for no reason. We do want Armon in this list.
Oh, yeah.
So Armon is basically an Exalted Sorcerer on disc, but he gives you a free ritual once, and he's a worse gun, but whatever. It's fine. So Armon probably wants to go in. He moves 12. I think one of these is about to become just Armon on disc.
How many points is Armon over?
Some amount. I'll double check. I used to know this one by heart. We're going to drop an Exalted. This way you can, double Doom Bolt, do things like that. Armon disc is 115.
So that gives us 35 points?
Yes. That gives us 35 points, which is nothing. So there is going to need to be some cuts.
So the question becomes, what do we cut?
Yes. We could just take a Rhino, stick Armon with 10 rubrics, and have the Flamer brick, which is pretty good, but also completely counter to what this list is trying to do.
No.
Armon on disc is not bad. He hits kind of hard in melee. His shooting leaves some amount to be desired. Yeah. It's one shot. It's like D6 damage with strength 6, AP 2, I believe.
Yeah.
It's not great. We do need to make some cuts here.
Or, well, how much is the Umberlific Crystal?
The Umberlific Crystal is 25.
What if we just added that and we accepted 1990?
I do like the Umberlific Crystal.
Right, you just throw it on an Infernal Master or someone.
It's 20 points.
20, so we have 15 points left?
So that would be 95 points.
Yeah.
If we took an Infernal Master, copied him. We just gave him Umberlific Crystal. Mm-hmm. Just out of like a, hey, I want to play the mission sort of deal.
Yeah,
95.
Yeah. I mean, like, you shoot 3 Warp Flamers and get behind enemy lines or whatever, right? Like, you go and kill the Calidus.
Yeah, you do get to, well, you get to kill the Calidus with,
Doombolt? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty gross there. If you roll a 2-up, she's just dead.
Oh, wow. She sure is, isn't she?
Yeah. And then the Exalted Sorcerer would get to shoot her at that point. You're not hurting for ways to kill lone ops in this list. So, this leaves you at 1985.
That's less than I like.
It is less than I would like.
Can someone get promoted?
What I think is going to happen here is that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 units that want to join rubrics, and we have 6 units of rubrics. Bye! And then that's going to become another character.
Okay, so another, like, Disc Sork?
I was thinking another sorcerer,
okay.
Just to say you can't shoot me outside of 18.
I like that plan.
Honestly, with the amount of points that this leaves us, I want trash. I want nonsense. You get into with 130 points, which lets you get a decent amount of stuff.
Doesn't Armon want to join? Or is he just by himself?
I think he's just by himself here.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because he can move out of a Rhino, double move. And
he doesn't really get anything. It's not like his gun gets any better.
He gives his unit +1 to wound. I mean, he moves 10 inches.
Yeah. I mean, +1 to wound
instead of 12, which the Exalted
nice,
Sorcerer does.
But it's 3 Flamers, right? Like, that just kind of tickles.
Yeah. I could also see just cutting Armon, but Armon gives you a free use of a ritual, which is very good to go out, double move, turn off armor saves for free, call down the bombardment, and just say, hey, that Terminator unit behind a wall is now dead.
Or just Desolator, something like that.
Yeah. 130 points does give me the ability to take 2 units of Flamers. Realistically, it wouldn't be a unit of Flamers.
What if you had a Changeling Blue Scribes?
Changeling Blue Scribes is 10 points over.
Ugh.
But I'm not against it. They're quite good.
How much is a unit of Flamers?
65. So it could be Blue Scribes, Flamers.
I like that.
I do also like that. I don't know how close this is actually to their lists. It's close, obviously. Like, it's in the same archetype.
We could also cut the crystal and add Blue Scribes, Changeling.
Yeah, we could do that for sure. Oh man. All right, let's count up the Cabal just to be 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 18, 23. 23.
23, because we cut one.
Yeah. Oh, God, how did Arn get all the way up to 26? It's impressive. I'm pretty sure he had 1 Rhino, 1 Mutalith, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I would like a little bit more skirmish than that. I could even cut down to 4 rubrics because 1, 2, 3, 4 is all that's joining. And if I cut down to 4 units of rubrics, I do get a bunch of trash in here.
I like Changeling and Blue Scribes for what it's worth.
I love the Changeling. The Changeling is one of my favorites.
Changeling is so annoying.
Yeah, the Changeling is great.
I'm going to shoot your Changeling. I rolled a 6.
Sorry.
Not.
Also, the Changeling shoots, like, ridiculously hard for no reason.
I was, like, gonna move... I was gonna go, like, send a unit on a Changeling assassination run and just hope I rolled well. And I was like, can he Overwatch? Your opponent was like, yeah. And I was like, what's his gun? And she told me, and I was like, why is the Changeling gun so good?
Yeah, it's just really, good
really good
for no reason.
It's also a flamer.
The Changeling is 75 and is so good. Is so good. I just want to play with the Changeling forever. And then I don't need Blue Scribes here, honestly.
Probably not.
Like, it could just be the Changeling. Blue Scribes is great because it moves 12.
It is. It's really good for, like, pushing buttons.
It is great for pushing buttons. But if I cut the Blue Scribes, how many Enlightened squads do I get? Because if it's 3... It is 3.
Oh, that's it. That's the answer.
Because this list is then 1985.
With Crystal?
with 2 Arcane Vortexes for some reason. Let's try that again. Umbrellific Crystal, Arcane Vortex, Lord of Forbidden Lore. Yeah, this list is 1990.
That's acceptable. How many points is a Squad of Flamers?
65.
And the 45 for the Enlightened? Or 55?
What's that?
How many points are the Enlightened?
Enlightened are 45.
Okay, I was going to say, I wonder if you promote a Squad of Enlightened to a Squad of Flamers, but we can't.
What we could do is take Armon on disc and change him to an Exalted Sorcerer on
I like
disc.
Armon for the once a game. Just be like, your armor save is gone.
Yeah, I do like that. He also gives you more Cabal points generally. He's a little more durable. He hits a little harder in combat.
His combat is, like, not negligible.
It's not negligible.
He'll kill the last Intercessor pretty reliably.
He's not bad at combat, for sure. I need to see this list in action to determine whether Armon is better.
Yeah.
Because what we could do is cut him down to Exalted Sorcerer. That's 10 points. The list is 1980. And then it's 2 Enlightened, Changeling, and the Blue Scribes. And that's legitimately not bad. The bombardment we're calling down is the 2 CP. Every Psyker model gets to shoot their psychic weapons at a target out of line of sight and ignores cover. So that would be this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits.
But
it hits
Jack,
hard.
it's only Psyker models.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
buddy,
They're all
it's gonna
Psykers.
hurt. It's gonna hurt quite a lot.
Gosh.
Yeah. And the thing that's nice, I mean, I do kind of want more rubrics. I don't know if I like the only 4 squads.
Could we do a 5th squad of rubrics and then 1 squad of Enlightened?
Maybe. I do think if we take 5th squad of rubrics, I'm wavering on whether I want more than 2 guys on disc, right?
We have 3, right?
Because I like, right. So I'm saying, do I want to cut Armon to get something? And I get it. Like, it's a lot of the free ritual is very nice, for sure. I do think that's really good. So we do need guys on disc to get line of sight to call down the bombardment, because you need to get line of sight for the stratagem. So you get line of sight, and then everybody else can shoot that target. And I do like Armon just going, "Wee, see you, wee, back into the transport, wee, see you." Let me think. We got some time to work on this. Could also take more sorcerers. They're not bad, but they're also not like required. How many points is this right here?
Oh yeah, how many do we have left? We should have like 100, right? Or 150?
Yeah, I think it's like 140. We have 145 points left.
Okay.
On this list right here. It could just be a rubric squad.
Could be another Mutalith.
It could be another Mutalith. 145 is 2 Mutaliths.
Don't hate that.
No, I quite like that.
That's actually a lot of chonk.
It's a lot of chonk.
It's a lot of chonk.
It's a lot of pressure forward.
Yeah. Also, if one goes down, you have the second one for your extended range.
I also own 2.
We have 2 legit... Man, Exaction Squads and Mutalith Vortex Beasts.
That's right.
Jack,
I have them legit managed to find them through the glory of Warp Fire.
The purveyor of rare antiques over here.
That's right. So now let's see, do we need 2 Rhinos? What's going in Rhinos? So we've got the Exalted Sorcerer on disc is going in a Rhino. Let's look at the transport capacity of this bad boy. God, I do want to use 2 Mutaliths. Transport capacity of this bad boy is 12. Okay. Infantry models.
That sure sounds like 2 squads of rubrics plus their attached boys.
So I definitely want to have 1 Exalted Sorcerer in each one on disc or Armon. They're definitely going in the Rhino. After that,
I mean, you can play it by ear, right? Like, if you walk up to the table and it's 30 Desos, 3 Whirlwinds, you're like, everyone in the Rhinos.
yes.
And if you walk up and it's like, no indirects, then you're like, no one in the Rhinos.
Yeah,
or you
for
just
sure.
use the Rhinos as, like, speed bumps.
The Sorcerer plus the Rubrics are definitely out of the Rhino, because
Yeah.
they can't be shot, which feels really nice. So they're definitely not in the Rhino.
What if we put Magnus in a Rhino? He just, like, folds up real tight and, like, wears it like a hat.
Yeah, he walks around on feet, so therefore he must be infantry.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. Like a crisis suit.
Man, this list does look... It's do be starting to look pretty good.
This list looks terrifying.
It does a lot of damage. It does quite a bit of damage.
What unholy abomination have I helped to create?
I mean, realistically, don't Vic has done
Vic
a
created,
lot.
yeah. What What unholy abomination did I help copy from Vic?
Yes. All right, we have a $10 super chat, Zinth25. Even typing this, I know you give up far too much to do this, but would you ever consider Kairos as an ally in T-Suns?
Why don't we ask Nick?
No. So Kairos is pretty good. Kairos Fate Weaver is pretty good. He's not a bad ally, actually. He's 285, which is a little on the expensive
Only
end.
285?
Only 285.
Oh, wow.
He has a pretty decent gun.
His Vect is good.
His Vect is pretty good. Having Vect is just great. But I think you do give up. I considered Fate Weaver in the army, actually. Because it's just great disruption. It's a big thing to go places. It's basically an upgrade over Vortex Beast.
Yeah.
But I do think you give up too much. 285 is just it's a little more than I want to spend out of
if he was like 255.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so if we're... Oh, geez. Arn's list. Yeah, if we look at Arn's list, he has triple Infernal Master, triple Exalted Sorcerer, plus Aramon, plus a Sorcerer, plus Magnus. That's a little rich for my blood, I think. But damn, he has 6 units of Rubrics as well. 1 Vortex Beast, 1 Rhino. That is... damn, that is efficient. Yeah. So, looking at that, I don't think I need 4 guys on discs, especially with 1 Rhino. It is funny to have the party bus of 1 Rhino with 4 dudes inside of it.
It's the Pitmobile, but it actually works.
But it actually works.
Sorry, Nick.
Yeah. So, if we're looking at what's going to go in the Rhino, I honestly think it's just, like...
Some guys?
I think it's 1 unit.
Do we only need 1 Rhino, though?
I think we only need 1.
Okay, so cut the Rhino, get
so,
trash.
Yeah, cut the Rhino, we get trash, which is really what I want here. Because I think we just need 1 Rhino. You wedge it in kind of the corner, and it has like 2 Exalted Sorcerers in it, plus, an Infernal Master, plus Rubrics.
Can we cut the Rhino and the Crystal and get 2 squads of Flamers?
The Rhino and the Crystal? Get 2 squads of Flamers? Potentially. Let me see.
Work?
No, not even remotely.
Oh, okay. Can we get 2 squads of Enlightened?
2 squads of Enlightened we can get.
Okay, let's do that. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to cut the Crystal, honestly.
That's fair.
Umbrellific Crystal is very good. So Umbrellific Crystal says, in your command phase, you remove the bear's unit and you set it up anywhere back down 9 inches away.
It's in your command phase?
Yeah, it's
not end of their turn?
It's after you see what cards you've pulled.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Why is that better than everybody else's?
Okay. Get good. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Wow. Yeah, 75 points worth of Rhino actually doesn't get you anything.
It really doesn't. He gets you a unit and floating points. Just keep the Rhino at that point.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Because like the Rhino can just like drive around and be annoying to kill, right?
Now here's the question: have I directly ripped off Vic's list? Because I don't remember.
Let's find out.
Or have I made something all my own? He has Armon on disc. Oh god, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 1 Mutalith. I have 2. He has 2 Rhinos. We have 2. He has the Changeling. He has 1 extra squad of Rubrics.
And some Zangor.
Sweet. So I haven't functionally. This is my own list actually now because it has 2 Mutalith Vortex Beasts. That's right. Get wrecked.
Legally distinct.
Legally distinct. It is very similar. But that's kind of always going to happen from if you're following in someone else's archetype.
Also, T-Suns don't have a whole lot of units, right? Like,
all different characters, I think you'll find.
Sure. Harlequins have a rich variety of units.
Yeah.
To be attached to their troops.
Yeah, I'm never going to claim that this list isn't heavily inspired by that archetype. I think that archetype is so cool that I can't not play it.
Yeah, it's real cool.
But, this... Put my own spin on it, theoretically. Have Mutaliths in there. And we're going to see if the 4 units of Rubrics is too few. I'm not sure. But I think this is the list I'm going to try out.
I mean, it seems good to me.
Yeah, it seems real good. Yeah. I want to get it on the table, and then I will know more. Like, for example, could we have the Funny Gun Sorcerer?
The Yahtzee gun!
Right, let's find a way to put it in.
I like the Yahtzee gun.
Because we have some time here. Let's find a way to put a Sorcerer in with the Yahtzee gun. So the Yahtzee gun Sorcerer is 100 on the nose, which takes us 10 points over, which could just be Rhino become Flamer.
Let's just do that.
Yeah. Which we need Rhinos a little bit less because we already have
2 guys that can stay outside.
And not be shot. Okay, so the Rhino just becomes 3
Demoted
flamers.
to flamers.
That's right. Or it could just become the blue scribes, which I think is what's actually going to happen.
How many points are blue scribes?
65.
Oh, that sure is the answer.
It's going to be blue scribes. I give up assassinate like nobody's business.
You already give up. You give up assassinate. We passed that signpost a while ago.
Yeah.
Have you remember like Mark's orc list where he was like, you can't take assassinate and bring it down, so max of both.
Well, you now can take assassinate and bring it down. So the 2 sorcerers with their attached rubrics start out of the Rhino. 1 Infernal Master plus 5 rubrics starts in the Rhino, likely, or it could just be the Rhino's a literal disc party bus.
Yeah.
I think it depends matchup to matchup what starts where. But as it is, I think this list works pretty good. The Rhino plus the disc sorcerers are definitely required into indirect armies. Like if I'm playing into Eldar.
Yeah. Otherwise, they just get Night Spinner turn 1, and then you're sad.
Yeah. I think a unit of 5 plus an Inferno Master with all the nonsense you can pull to try and keep him alive can survive outside of the Rhino, and then you just triple move your Exalted Sorcerer in and try and blast their indirect off the board.
Yep. Or you turn
blow
off
up
armor
other
save
things.
and blow up the Wraith Knight or something.
That one actually sounds more likely.
Yeah.
Because you can't overwatch the double move. So what you do is you move out, you wait for your opponent's guy to move, you wait for the Wraith Knight to move, and then you just move to see him. They can't overwatch you. You turn off their armor save with Armon for freezies, and then you call down an unholy bombardment of all of this. And the Sorcerer, I'm going to take literally just, because I love rolling him out so much, I've done it by myself in my apartment. Repeatedly. I just sat there rolling him out. It's great. It's fun. Also because it legally makes my list distinct from Vix in a real way, as opposed to I have an extra Vortex Beast. Thank you.
Yes, now you have a different enhancement.
I have a different guy carrying the same enhancement. So this is 4, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17, 21. So I am substantially lighter on Cabal points than either Arn or Vic. But on the plus side, Sorcerer plus Rubrics can start out of the transport.
Yeah, and also 21's a lot of Cabal points.
It is.
How many was your Terminator list starting with?
14.
Ooh, wow, that's a lot. Not a lot.
Yeah, but they were all starting on the table, was the idea. Some of this starts in a Rhino, so this will probably end up having, 2 Exalted Sorcerers on disc at least. Or 1 Sorcerer on disc starting in the Rhino minimum. It's possible that that's all you do, right? Yep. You just have that, and then you have an Infernal Master plus Rubrics, and that's a grand total of 5 starting off transport, which means I would start with 16 on board, which is not a lot. So there's a possibility that this runs a little too low on Cabal points. That is there. That possibility exists.
This list is also very Cabal point hungry.
Yeah, what I could do is find room for, instead of the Infernal Master with Umbralefic, I take a 3rd Sorcerer and give him the Athenaean Scrolls for an extra Cabal point. And that unit, now nothing starts out of the transport that can get shot. Right? Because then you take 1 Infernal Master with Rubrics in the Rhino, and if necessary, you can put all 3 of the disc characters in for the turn it takes to go kill.
I like this list as it is.
As is?
As is.
Yeah. The Umbralefic Crystal is really nice, but I could definitely see just being like, hey, I can't be shot.
Yep.
Sorry, I have 2 Lone Ops, 2 Mutiliths, which good luck with that, and then triple Sorcerer, one of which gives me an extra Cabal point. Cabal point.
There's been a real big move among Space Marine lists towards being 2 squads of Sniper Scouts and 2 squads of Infiltrators with Phobos Librarians and a Kaladesh, and that's what you're starting with as everything's a lone op.
Yes. I could definitely see this list going that direction because you do have enough damage. I could, as I said, I could see this Infernal Master going from 2 Cabal points that starts out of a Rhino but can get shot by indirect to being 2 Cabal points minus the Umbralefic Crystal that starts out of the transport and cannot be shot.
Yeah.
And then what would start on the table would be, 3 Sorcerers, that's 4 Cabal points with the enhancement, 3 units of Rubrics, that's 7, Magnus, that is 11, and then you run Armon out turn 1, go blow up their indirect, and everyone gets out of the transports. Then you have a ton of Cabal points. But I think the Rhino is necessary. It is a bit unfortunate that you don't get Cabal points for guys in Rhinos, otherwise this would be very easy, because I do definitely want to have enough. this is a little light on Cabal points. But I think we're going to try it. And it's heavier on Cabal points than my last list for sure. But it's lighter than I would love to be. It's possible this goes down to 1 Vortex Beast, or the Blue Scribes or something goes somewhere and becomes more
characters. I think it's fine. We can put it on the table and see if you need more than 21.
Yep. And then Arcane Vortex Sorcerer is hilarious and a half. And also is almost certainly going to be shooting from 30 inches away against John turn after turn after turn.
He's going to be so mad. He's going to walk at you 2.5 inches at a time.
Yep. Well, he's playing Chaos Knights, so he will walk at me 6 inches at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting
Stuff, really. I legitimately think against him, it's just going to be the one sorcerer in the Rhino or maybe Armon in the Rhino just to go see, call down the bombardment and stuff.
He might shoot you with Havoc Launchers, though.
Whatever. I get 3 up against them.
That's fair.
They move me on 4s. I don't know. Maybe 5s, 3s, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some amount. All right. I think that is us for today. This is definitely a first draft, and I need to play it. I don't have the experience that Vic or Arn do. So they could definitely point at this and be like, you idiot, there's this. Well, that's why I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be testing it, and I'm very excited to put this on the table. And then I will be in our Discord talking about what I've learned, what I'm changing, and how I'm moving forward. And I'm looking forward to that. So if you're not in our Discord and you want to be, have a part of that, you want to go to the warroom.vhx.tv down in the description below. And there's a 3-day free trial. You can join up, join our global community, get all of our videos. I have a breakdown of Thousand Suns in there as well because I'm our Thousand Suns guy. And I'm excited to keep developing this because I felt like I had the list where I wanted it and it wasn't good enough. Like, I felt like I had the list optimized and it wasn't good enough. So I'm so excited to be able to move in
a very different
direction that does work very well. And this is the kind of thing I would play to a tournament if I were to go sometime in the next couple months. I'm hoping to take this to the GW finals. And I'm just very excited.
Yeah, we'll see what happens come September.
All right. Well, that is it for us for today. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.